one more time. I swear I was paying attention.
Really? The first 3 times weren't enough?
Well, there's just so much that you do in preparing your sheep for the show. And you use so many weird words.
You just weren't paying attention, were you?
Well, maybe not. But it can't really all be that hard.
I'd like to see you try.
Challenge accepted.
Madam Chair,
Honorable judges,
ladies and gentlemen,
and fellow 4-H members,
my name is Jacques Jolivet,
and my name is Sophie Jolivet.
and we are from the Scenic 4-H Lamb Club on Vancouver Island, and today we will be going through our process for taking our sheep from the field
To the fair. In this demonstration, we will be showing you the steps of preparing our sheep to be a champion.
To prepare a sheep for show, the primary process is washing. The supplies you'll need for this are towels, a blow dryer, Dawn dish soap, Orvis soap, purple shampoo, tear-free baby soap, stain remover soap, baby oil, leg wraps, and sheep coats.
The secondary process is fitting, which is usually done on the day of the show. The supplies you will need for this are carders of various sizes, large hand shears, small hand shears, baby wipes, packers of various sizes, a quarter, a spray bottle filled with soapy water, a horse hoof pick with a brush, and hoof trimmers. Let's start by taking a look at our sheep, Fluffy. This is her straight from the field, covered in hay, dirt, and other contaminants. The first step towards preparing her for the show is washing.
Most people will wash their sheep 3 to 4 days before the fair to allow an opportunity for them to be fully dry while fitting. The steps of washing that we follow are wet the sheep,
Wash with Dawn dish soap,
wash with stain remover soap and baby oil,
wash with Orvis,
wash with purple shampoo,
and finally, wash head and sensitive areas with tear-free baby soap, remembering to rinse in between each soap wash.
We start by washing our sheep with the Dawn dish soap to remove dirt and lanolin from the fleece.
Lanolin is the natural oil that may make some sheep's wool appear orange or yellow.
Then, we use the stain remover soap and baby oil and spot wash areas that need it.
This soap is generally used around the rear end to help in removing urine stains and works best if used on a weekly basis. The baby oil is then used to help loosen any manure that has attached itself to the fleece so that it does not need to be cut off, leaving you with uneven wool.
After that, we use the Orvis soap to bring out the bright white coloring of the fleece and remove any remaining dust and debris.
The purple shampoo is then used on a clean fleece to fix any discoloration caused by the lanolin, canceling out the cream and yellow with the dark purple of the shampoo.
We only use enough of the purple shampoo so that it stays in to cancel out the creams and yellows. Keep in mind that the past 2 soaps are designed for naturally white sheep and would be wasted on fleeces with other colorings.
Next, we have to dry our sheep.
Drying can be done in many different ways, but how we do it is a rub off with towels.
Then, we use a blow dryer to finish the job.
It is important that your sheep is fully dry because a wet fleece attracts dirt and dust like a magnet. After we dry them, we put coats on them. This prevents both dirt and vegetable matter from entering the fleece, ruining your wash jar.
There are generally 2 different types of coats that you will be seeing at fairs. Ones meant for non-shown chip animals and market lambs look like this. This works best when there is no wool on the sheep as it goes slick to the body. The second type of coat you will be seeing on larger animals, such as mature animals, as well as showmanship animals. These coats are more accommodating to fleece and size and are of a higher quality, so we use them to keep the fleece cleaner better. For lambs with large amounts of wool on their legs, leg wraps can be used to help keep them clean. We generally use these when attempting to keep our lambs clean overnight and remove them on the morning of the fair to fit them.
Now that our sheep is nice and sparkly white, we are ready to start fitting in preparation for the fair.
The steps of fitting that we will be following can be seen here.
Skirt the wool,
Card the wool,
trim the wool,
touch up the carding,
pack the wool,
clean the ears,
clean the hooves.
and clean the armpits.
Skirting is the process of removing any large pieces of dirt and vegetable matter that your sheep has picked up.
Next, we card the animal, separating the fibers from their neat crimp and making them stand straight up.
Carding can't be rushed, and some members will spend hours making sure that every fiber of their sheep's fleece is properly carded before they even set foot at the fair.
Members generally have a wide variety of carders, ranging in those the size and the density of the bristles.
After we've carded our sheep, and before we start trimming, we need to get an idea of how much wool needs to be trimmed.
The required length of fleece is 1 inch long, and a way that we like to measure this is with a quarter.
To trim your sheep in an even and precise way, move several times over the same area, trimming with quick, small snips, making sure the pointy end of the shears are away from you and the animal, repeating until the area is smooth.
After trimming, it may be necessary to perform some extra carding in areas that are uneven.
Switching regularly between carding and trimming is the method most members use to make their sheep's wool as smooth, even, and presentable as possible.
From the moment that our sheep leaves the trim stand, it's a constant stress to make sure they don't rub off on anything, ruining our perfect fitting job. This is why we pack.
Packing is the process of taking the carded and trimmed wool fibers and pushing them back down, further strengthening and smoothing your fitting job.
Some people, especially junior members, prefer to use the back of their packer or a ping pong paddle to prevent the fleece from becoming overly packed and short.
A helpful trick when packing your sheep is to lightly spray the sheep's wool with some soapy water. This helps the fibers stick together, making a more polished finish and end result.
The last step is looking at their hooves, ears, and armpits. These are the areas your judge will check for cleanliness. Take your baby wipes and clean out their ears and armpits, making sure the numbers on their ear tag are legible.
You want to remove any and all wax, really anything that feels unclean and nasty to touch. After that, take your horse hoof pick with brush attached and some soapy water and scrub off any dirt and manure from their hooves, finishing with a fresh, clean edge with the hoof trimmers.
Wow, you can really see just how far Fluffy has come.
And now, with 10 minutes left to spare, it's time to give yourself a little makeover. And after all that, don't forget to smile.
Let's summarize all that we've spoken about today.
We went through our supplies list.
Looking at the supplies used to wash, then fit our sheep.
We looked at the steps of washing.
Following the process of washing with multiple soaps to achieve the desired whiteness.
Then the steps of fitting.
Going through carding, trimming, touch-up carding, packing, and then looking at the hooves, ears, and armpits.
Leaving you with your show-stopping lamb ready to rule the ring.
Madam Chair.
Are there any questions?
If you don't have a packer, can you use your carders to do the same thing?
The question has been asked, if you don't have a packer, can you use your carders to do the same thing? Yes, but it's not as effective. So basically, a packer is the same thing as a carder, but the carder has the metal tines hooked, so that way you can basically pull up the fibers and make them straight. Whereas on a packer, all the metal tines are straight. So you could use a packer, just like you would use a carder. It wouldn't be as effective. you're using the back of your packer, it's identical to using the back of the carter. Does that answer your question?
Are there any other questions?
Are there any other questions?
How do you keep the beast still while you do this?
The question has been asked, how do you keep the savage beast still while you try and give them a purr? Well, obviously it takes training to get them used to, first of all, being around people, and second, being handled by people. And even then, the most tame sheep will not just stand there and take it, because they'd rather be off playing or eating grass or lying down. So when we wash, we halter our sheep, and then we tie the lead end of the halter to the fence while we wash them. But while you're fitting, there are these big metal things called trim stands, where basically it's metal grate with a place for the sheep to put their head. It's all adjustable, and you can attach the sheep's, basically there's a little chain that'll go around the back of the sheep's neck so that they can't really move their head off of it. And then some of them have a jack so you can lift your sheep up so you don't have to bend down as much. So basically, when we're washing, we halter them and then tie the halter to a fence. You can also do that for fitting, but if you have access to them, trim stand is specifically designed for that purpose. Does that answer your question?
Yes, thank you.
Yes.
How long does this entire process take if you're quite experienced with sheep?
The question has been asked, how long does this process take for someone experienced with sheep? Well, the washing process, when using all of these soaps, generally takes me, for a trained social animal that's just going to sit there and not fight me, about an hour to an hour and a half. I will then proceed to drink coffee and spend the next 5 hours carding, because I'm a perfectionist like that. The trimming will tend to take about an hour if you are really getting into making the entire thing smooth and precise. That is generally done the morning of the show. Then the hooves, ears, and armpits, generally about 15 minutes. So for me, the entire process would take an hour and a half to 2 hours prior to show, and then on show day, about 4 or 5 hours. Does that answer your question?
Yes. Thank you.
Are there any other questions?
Are there any other questions?
Are there any other questions?
If there are no further questions, then this concludes our demonstration on taking our sheep from the field
To the fair.